No Time to Die is the 25th James Bond film. We have been waiting a long time to watch it as November 2019 was supposed to be its initial release date. Then it got pushed to February 2020 and then to April 2020 and then to November 2020 and then to April 2021 and finally it is releasing on October 8, 2021 in the United States and it is starting its international rollout pretty soon from September 30th. I got a chance to watch it early. If you want to know how I saw it early, jump down into the description of the video. I have given a detailed explanation of how I get to see all these movies in advance and left my review even before the US embargo. Now let us jump into the actual No Time to Die review. Let me get this to you straightforward. No Time to Die was worth the wait. It is not a perfect film, but it certainly lives up to the hype. Let me present my review point by point in detail. 5 years after the capture of Ernst Stavro Blofeld, James Bond has left active service. He is approached by his friend and CIA officer Felix Leiter, who enlists his help in research for Waldo Obrashev, a missing scientist. When it becomes apparent that Obrashev has been abducted, Bond must confront a villain whose schemes could see the death of millions. When I first read the premise, I thought it sounds pretty simple but interesting. It turns out that entire plot was not simple but complicated, which is what I like from a Bond film. Like all other Bond movies, even this one has a solid twist. I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. The writing in this film is the best when compared to the writing of all other Bond movies, previous Bond movies, the recent ones. In the Daniel Craig era. The writing is what elevates the plot to that degree. The plot has been put together in a masterful way. The connections that have been made to all the other previous Bond films completely make sense. This movie really plays out like the end of an era Bond film. It has been built in a strong and epic way. And out of all the factors which make up it all this good, the plot of the film stood out to me the most. However, still, it does not succeed in delivering the franchise's best story even when compared to the other Daniel Craig Bond movies. Casino Royale's and Skyfall's plot was still best according to me. The incredible cast of this film includes Daniel Craig, Rami Malek, Lashania Lynch, Jeffrey Wright, Naomi Harris, only to name a few. As we all know, this is the final James Bond movie for Daniel Craig. He's my second favorite Bond actor just behind Sean Connery, and Daniel Craig gives his most ambitious performance as James Bond in this film. He shows us the most classy James Bond can be. Though his performance in Casino Royale still stays out to be my favorite, but there is no denial that his performance in the film looked the most professional out of all his other performances. And he's got some tough competition when it comes to getting all the attention because Rami Malek is right over there. He gives an outstanding performance, making him my favorite villain out of all the recent James Bond villains. Mads Mikkelsen was my previous favorite, but Rami Malek just took that crown from him. Rami Malek gives a terrifying performance in this film, which makes him the scariest Bond villain to date. Christopher Waltz also stood out to me. Although he was not as much as I wanted him to be in this film, but for whatever part he was, he delivers his part perfectly. Lashana Lynch went on to be a really strong female character in the film. What I don't like about the James Bond movie is the fact of how these movies treat their female characters. Lashana Lynch is an exception. She's one of the rare female characters in the franchise that was really strong, and it was all because of how devotedly Lashana Lynch does her part. Cary Joji Fukunaga takes the mantle from Sam Mendes as the director of this film. As we know, Sam Mendes previously did Skyfall and Spectre, and I think Cary Joji Fukunaga knocked it out of the park. He did an amazing job when it comes to the direction of the film. He pulled out what can be called as one of the best Bond films to date, at least in the top 5. However, a lot of Bond movies are crappy though. This franchise is running for far too long and it is showing no signs of stopping. Making the 25th entry into the James Bond franchise as one of its best and even getting the audience interested in it is a big task, and Mr. Cary Joji Fukunaga does it in perfection. Not that the movie is absolutely perfect, but the direction sure is. What I look the most forward while anticipating for a Bond film is a story, but besides the story, action is also very necessary. This is what makes a Bond film a theatrical experience. The action scenes of No Time to Die are the best in the entire franchise. Yes, I'm talking about all the 25 movies. Well, it's obvious that Daniel Craig era will have better action scenes in the previous old Bond movies due to advancement in visual effects and expertise in choreography. Casino Royale was more story focused, being less action focused, and Quantum of Solace did not have even a single memorable action scene. Skyfall had pretty good action scenes and Spectre had even better action, but No Time to Die even surpasses Spectre when it comes to the action. The huge epic action scenes in this film is what makes it an absolute theatrical blockbuster. I see why MGM was so stubborn to release it in theaters and held it so long for letting it get a theatrical release. You gotta watch it on the big screen. No Time to Die, just like the Bond movies, opens with a stellar action sequence, and that is one of the best action sequences in the franchise. So it starts out loud, and the opening credits play out as usual with a song, then the movie goes on a slow pace for the first act. The second act was good, not great due to the pacing. It lost me at a few moments during the second act. The second act is the most important part of the film. It is the one where all the major plot points need to be explored while moving forward in the story continuously, and I felt that the second act should have been better. The third act though, oh man, that was huge. The third act completely won me over with a heated pace. It was so fun to watch. I didn't lose my attention for a second during the third act. It was amazing. It had a lot of story in it and a lot of action with it. At the end, they close up delivering a great conclusion for the Daniel Craig era of Bond films. Daniel Craig did a wonderful job and the movie realizes it, giving him a great end. Well, obviously Bond's character is already developed. The new character it introduces though also have amazing character arcs, especially Rami Malek's Lucifer Safin and Lashana Lynch's Nomi. Lucifer Safin is the most scary Bond villain to date, and well, it was partly due to Malek's terrifying performance and partly due to the way Cary Joji Fukunaga shaped the character of Lucifer Safin. All the horrible things he did in this film rightfully make him a great villain. He just got an amazing character arc in just a single film. So overall, No Time to Die is an amazing Bond film, according to me. It delivers a great conclusion for this Bond era filled with great performances from Lashana Lynch, Rami Malek and Daniel Craig. Delivers one of the best Bond villains, has some really cool action sequences and great direction from Cary Joji Fukunaga. At the same time, it has some pacing issues during its second act. Also, it faces problems delivering exposition. So concluding my review for the film, I would like to give No Time to Die an 8.8 out of 10. So that was my review for No Time to Die. Share your own thoughts in the comment section down below. Say me how much excited you are for this film, because Bond fans are getting crazy over it. So we'll meet soon. Like, share and subscribe Film Villa.